Hello and a warm welcome to the Shanghai International Circuit in Jiading in China. We welcome our viewers around the world to the GT Asia Series. It's round 9 of the series of 2016 at this famous Shanghai circuit, which opened in 2004. The site, of course, of the Formula One race each year here in China. And we await the top GT cars of Asia as they get ready for what should be one of the most exciting races of the year. And after a long summer break, we're very much looking forward to this. We've got new teams, new drivers involved. But Audi have been the talk of the town here in Shanghai since we arrived earlier this week. And it is a pole position for a Formula One former star in Malaysia's Alex Yoong. He starts on pole position for the first of 2 races this weekend. And we welcome you wherever you're tuning in around the world on the internet. And of course, we'll be live on Fox Sports tomorrow afternoon with the second race of the weekend. Full grid as always. And like I said, it's been a big weekend so far for Audi in terms of qualifying. The Absolute Racing Audi of Cheng and Sun right up there. We know just how well the Absolutes go with Bentley, but they also go pretty good with the Audi R8 as well. And it's seemingly, and it very much is, an Audi circuit so far. Whether they can maintain that, as you can see, a lockout on the front row. And Steve Martin alongside me. It's been a while since we've seen that. This season alone, Audi as dominant in qualifying.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's the first time we've had 2 Audis on the front row of the grid, Jonathan. It's been, you know, pretty amazing qualifying. It's been so hot here. The teams and drivers have had to really dig deep to put in the lap times that they have. Of course, they have raced here before, but they haven't raced on this long track. So this is the first time that we will have driven on the long track. So there's no lap record set. So whatever the fastest lap of the race is, will be a new lap record set this weekend, Jonathan. But there's a lot of guys out there that have got a lot to prove, and we've got some new cars in the field as well, apart from the Audi that we just looked at.
Yeah, and the biggest exciting part of it is that Mercedes are back. The Mercedes AMG team, and couldn't be more excited for them. The Driving Academy AAI team, really exciting to see them. And of course, wherever they race and whenever they race, it seems, around the world, they are either competitive or they win, pretty much. And that is how it goes. They're not in the championship, mind you, and here is the championship points, which is led by, at the moment, Edoardo Liberati and Andrea Amici of Italy, who both, of course, are teammates in the Lamborghini Huracan team. 94 points, but it's close. Davide Rizzo and Anthony Liu, the Shanghai pairing in the Ferrari 488. They line up in second place at the moment, and of course, this Shanghai circuit has been so pivotal in the last couple of years, especially for the BBT team from Ferrari, to see whether they actually go on to win the championship. They haven't done it yet, but they're in a very good position to do it again. Vuticorn and Venter in the Bentleys. What will they do today? Big news is obviously Marchi Lee in contention for the title, but struggling with gearbox problems in qualifying, and they will start right at the back of this huge field. And I think that's what's so interesting is the way we've got, as we look at our starting grid, Alex Yoong and out on the front row in the Phoenix Racing Asia team, Cheng and Sun alongside them for Absolute Racing, another Audi, then Tappi and Vuticorn. That's the first of the Bentleys. They struggled in qualifying but came good at the end in that Bentley, ahead of Maro Engel in 4th position in the first of the Mercedes AMGs. Then Bastian and Solomon, Matthew Solomon, the Hong Kong driver, and another of the Germans coming in. Lyons and Yu in 6th place for Craft Bamboo Racing. Wouldn't that be interesting to see what they could do, having been so successful last time out? Liberati and Amici and Riso and Liu start 7th and 8th. Now remember, they're fighting for the championship at the moment, or at least are contending for the title, as we have 4 races to go. Venten Sauer and Tanuzzi and Mull coming in, the young American, and Mull from Holland in 10th position. They are the second and first time entries as Lamborghinis to effectively help the 2 young Italians to try to get to where they need to go. Van Dam and Biram Bhakti, Thong and Lee, that's 11th and 12th. As we see the Audi take off the safety car heading out. And then at the back, Zhang and Li, Sugden and Marr disappointing. Sugden, in fact, actually now being partnered by John O'Lester in the Group M racing car. And watch out for the fireworks of John O'Lester and Sugden, who already proved as a combination. In fact, Philip Marr, who owns the car, actually not racing this weekend. Great to see the Kiwi, John O'Lester, who's had so many great outings so far. The man who's raced a lot in Asia, and it's going to be very interesting to see this circuit finally in action, Steve. We've seen it obviously in Formula One, we've seen it in GT Asia in the last couple of years, but I look at this field and I look at the way it's set in terms of qualifying. It's so close. The balance of performance has been brilliant this weekend and all season, I may add. And that obviously brings the cars to as close as they can be. And you only have to look at the qualifying times to see it's absolutely nail-bitingly close.
Yeah, when you look at those qualifying times, Jonathan, the first 6 guys, the first 3 rows of the grid were, believe it or not, only separated by 0.2 of a second. So the front 6 guys are going to be absolutely on the ball. There's a lot of guys that have got a lot to lose and a lot to win here. Mercedes have got a big event here this weekend, Jonathan. They need to get the win for that. They're not in it for the championship, they're in it for the glory. So expect to see them fighting and driving hard. You've got Sean Thong, who's in the car at the moment, starting from back down in the pack. They had a lot of problems in qualifying. Championship on the line. They need to win because of that. You've got the other Lamborghini here with Antonucci and Mull. They need to back up the number 55 of the Italians if they can. And then on top of that, you've got Adley Fong and Andrew Kim, who had a big crash and some mechanical problems as well, that really don't have that much of a chance in the championship, but they always put in a good race.
Almost feel that having Mercedes in the field almost kind of fulfills it, really, because they've been so successful both around the world and, of course, is here in Asia. In fact, it's not the first time they've raced in GT Asia. A couple of years ago at Zhuhai, I remember that Matthew Solomon, who's racing again in the Mercedes today, raced alongside Mika Hakkinen, who, by the way, is here today. And Mika was hoping to race, but and we may see him in action in the next few months, in the next few years.
Well, I've actually heard that he's got a new job this weekend, hasn't he? Waving the flag.
We hope he's going to be doing the checkered flag. But lovely to see Mika here, 2-time champion, a massive Mercedes ambassador. But when you have Bentley, Lamborghini, Ferrari, Audi, and of course, it's great to have Mercedes join those strongs. But interestingly enough, now remember, they your Asian racing, of course, they dominated Macau years. Maro Engel out for AMG, and yet they have. And we thought at the beginning of the weekend maybe they were just sandbagging a little, but it hasn't.
But when I said to big Mercedes up near the front of the field anytime soon. They're in the 2x2 formation now. We've just saw the wave flagging. Safety car coming off by the looks of things, and when he does come off, we will be ready to go. And as you can see, and as you say, Steve, they are lining up side by side to go racing here. If the stewards and the race director feels that they are all in line and ready to go, we will drop the lights and we will be racing here for round 9. Shanghai in Asia for GT Asia, as away we go. Good start from Alex Young, his first pole position in a few years. The Bentley got away well too, but it is Young who leads the way for Audi. Yeah, it's good to see Alex Young. He was really upbeat today. He got that first pole position in the Audi, and he needs to get a great result here if he can. He hasn't had a win in that car yet, but of course Marchie Lee has, so everything to play for the silver Audi R8 today.
Through the snail for the first time they go, which is corner 2, 3 and 4, and then opening it up through the king of 5 here at Shanghai. Very interesting circuit, very technical circuit. Another Hermann Tilke design, opened in 2004 and still celebrated in Formula One, but perfect for GT Asia.
Porsche, we haven't talked much about the Porsche, but they're in with a big shot too. I don't know, Richard Lyons did a great job in qualifying, and he's up there in 4th position at the moment, so hopefully he can maintain that pace throughout the race. Especially, we haven't really mentioned yet, but the heat that we've got out there at the moment. This is the hottest that we've been all year. It's up near 40 degrees at the moment. It's so hot out there.
A lot of pressure already for Alex Young in the number 6 Audi, and as you say, conditions very hot indeed. But a good start by the number 9 of Tappy and Vuticorn. Duncan Tappy of Great Britain, an exceptional driver. Tries for both Bentley and for McLaren, just come off the summer break where he raced for McLaren in Spa, and now he's back to the Bentley beat. And he's proved over the last couple of years he is a force to be reckoned with here in Asia. Right in the middle of the field, the bright red and yellow of Davide Rizzo, the Shanghai-based Italian with work to do, with the championship still very much in contention as they head down this long straight for the first time, braking very hard indeed.
Yeah, it's good to see Duncan Tappy. A great result. The team heads, they were 3 seconds off. They were 3 seconds off the pace with braking issues, and they went a strange way with the setup, in a way that they've never been before, and it certainly wasn't working for them. They've obviously found the pace and put it back right now.
Because he was under pressure from Tappy a moment ago. He just did a 2:10.5, some 3/10s quicker than Duncan Tappy of Great Britain. Cheng still in third position. The effectively that Lamborghini have got for this weekend, because they too have added a second car for the first time.
Yeah, you've got to think that second Hurricane of Antonucci, which is the sister car of the number 55 machine, is definitely here to help the number 1 Lamborghini, which is the Roger Dubois number 55 machine. Of course, they're leading the championship at the moment, so to have that sister car here is a big bonus for the Triple F team this weekend.
Good battle for 9th and 10 between Venter and Rizzo. Venter currently in the Bentley in 9th position, in the green and white, here he is. And you can see getting a lot of pressure from Rizzo, who tucks up behind the larger size Bentley, the 488, very quick indeed here at Shanghai this weekend, but very tight indeed too as we head into the tight corner again, turn 14 and 50, and then onto the main straight again. Try as he might, you're trying to get away, and he's put in a couple of good laps. Last lap of 2:10.5, we'll check him out this time as they come onto the main straight and past the start finish again.
Yeah, he's got a pretty big field behind him. It's not like he's got a bunch of amateurs behind him. He's a world champion in 4th position at the moment in an angry Mercedes. So if Jung wants to win this one, he's really got to work hard to make it happen. And Duncan Tappy, he hasn't had a win for a while either, so he wants to put that Bentley at least up on the podium. But right now, he's in a good position to challenge Sean. And
whoa, here comes the BBT Ferrari.
Yep, through on the inside, and look, that's Sean Thong
as well. And just behind him, Carlo Van Dam in the 458 Ferrari.
Jonathan Venter obviously having some sort of issues working his way backwards through the pack, unfortunately for him.
And Adley Fong's just behind, and ominously so as well, because look at this, here comes Adley Fong.
Yeah, I mean, what a weekend Adley Fong's had. He turned that car around into the wall earlier on practice on Friday, and then they had a issue where the pipe came off the turbo, so they lost all turbo boost and qualified way at the back of the pack.
They touched for a moment, the Bentley and the Audi then. Big moment there for Sean Thong.
Yeah, Jonathan Venter, of course, is not one to give up. He's giving it everything he can.
Now, the reason why Sean Thong and Marchi Lee were so far back at the start of this one, they had gearbox problems in qualifying, and they were right at the back. They've just had a catalogue of problems, really.
Well, what happened was, in fact, they were up near the front throughout the whole pre-practice sessions. As soon as they got to qualifying, the pinion gear came loose in the gearbox, which oil started coming out. Sean started complaining about oil or sliding from the rear, which is a problem that they've never had, they at the end, just as they realised what it was, it let go. So unfortunately, the gearbox destroyed itself, which meant that Marchi Lee didn't even get out of track.
Really good, bright start by Frankie Cheng. Kong Fu, of course, the Chinese driver in the Audi R8 LMS for absolute racing. Too much to talk about. We were talking about him this morning about he's been the quiet man, has Frankie Cheng, in terms of some of the top stars like Ho Bintang and Marchi Lee that have taken some of the limelight. But of course, he's raced in Europe, he's done Le Mans, he's done so many different races, and Frankie Cheng not to be outdone by someone like Duncan Tappy at all in 2nd place. And I'm looking for the number 13 this weekend to have a big weekend.
Absolutely. I mean, he's so many firsts. The first Chinese guy to get a podium in GP1, the first Chinese guy to ever do Le Mans. I mean, so he definitely knows how to drive, has a lot of worldly experience. And I mean, if you look at the field and look at who's sitting right behind him at the moment, he's certainly driving that Audi well. I will say though, Jonathan, that this track Due to its speed and size, of course, F1 come to this circuit. This is a track that will suit the Audi, especially in these hot conditions. The Audi's a car that keeps its grip well, even on worn tyres, and it's also got a lot of downforce. It's a very nice and good aerodynamic car. When you can run a lot of wind pressure over the top, it does get good grip. So if the Audi's got a chance of winning, it's definitely going to be here today.
Well, we were asking Alex Young after the pole position he got about why Audi was so dominant, so to speak, here, and he said he thinks the heat has a big part to play in it. It's well over 100 degrees, and anybody in China right now will know just how hot and humid it is, really humid indeed. And he said that the heat has had a definite effect, and it's just maybe helping the Audis compared to some of the other cars. Interestingly enough, if you're coming to GT Asia for the first time, you'll see at the top of your screen in the middle in black, on black background there, the GT Asia round 9, 51.49. That's the clock ticking down for this 60-minute race. Each of our races are 60 minutes. We have a compulsory pit stop at the a 10-minute window at the 25-minute mark. And that, therefore, from 25 to 35 is a compulsory pit stop window where everyone has to come in, otherwise they'll get a drive-through penalty. And then, as we get closer to it, we'll get to discuss how those pit stops fall out. And some of them have longer pit stops than others. Everybody has a 75-second basic pit stop, and then there are added times for depending on the drivers and depending on the success that they've had in previous races. But as we get to that window, we'll explain that. But in terms of that, Steve, we've got a few drivers who've really got to put a good stint in, because they've got, what, 100 seconds compared to some of the others.
You're absolutely right, Jonathan, but look at this. We've got the two protagonists in the championship out here now, just about banging wheels.
And they have got longer pit stops.
They certainly do. The guys with the longest pit stops out there at the moment are, of course, Amici in the number 55 car, which he's out there now. So he really does have to try and stay in front of the number 37 if he can, the BBT team.
Yeah, and Davide Rizzo doing a very good job on Liberati at the moment, for sure, because you can see he's flashing the lights, trying to intimidate the young Italian, just 23 years old, the Roman. But I don't think that's really going to intimidate him. He's a former champion of Super Trofeo, so I don't think he's going to be intimidated by the lights flashing at all. But he is under a lot of pressure.
But it is interesting to see them have that battle so far back in the field at the moment, isn't it? I mean, the number 55 car, of course, is doing everything in its power with Liberati at the wheel to try and keep Davide Rizzo behind him and just keep that championship alive.
Well, what's interesting is that the two Italians, Liberati and Amici, only really came to the fore at Fuji last time out with a very, very big weekend for them, which vaulted them into the championship lead, and they started today with 94 points each. Just a few points, Davide Rizzo on 85 with Anthony Liu the same, and then down to 75 points for Sean Thong and Marchi Lee. So it's very much in the balance, this championship. 2 races this weekend, and then the final round in October.
That gap now, Jonathan, Alex Young is just doing a good job. He's just managed to open that gap up to 1.1, just so it's about just a second, just over a second gap now back to Duncan Tappy and Cheng just behind them. All of the cars at the moment on that 207.1 lap time, basically all the way back to 4th angle as well with a similar sort of time. Fastest man on track, though, is Rizzo back in 9th position.
Yeah, well, you can see it here on camera just how quick he is, because he's putting massive pressure on Edoardo Liberati of Italy.
Yeah, he's really got that 488 Ferrari wound up, trying to find a way past. Of course, the BBT team out of Shanghai here, they really, if they know any track, they know this track, and that man, Davide Rizzo, has been living in Shanghai for 10 years.
Yeah, and in fact, you know, the BBT team was born here, effectively. We were talking to Davide this morning about it. Yeah, really proud of what they've achieved, he and Anthony. And Anthony, the relative amateur to this in many ways, but so quick, and you'll see in the second stint there is no holding back Anthony Liu, and I expect here on home turf it's been an interesting hunting ground for them. They've had success here, but they've also had heartbreak here, and very much in the last couple of years it's been a make and break weekend for the BBT team in terms of their hopes of the championship, and they're hoping that it'll turn the right way for them. Lights blazing again for Tapp as he flashes here, and he's caught right up, and I don't know whether a mistake was made there by Young, but the time that he gained, which, as you said, was over a second, has now dropped and Tappy all over the back of him again.
Yeah, Tappy's doing a fantastic job, but once again, you can just see the different parts of the circuit as the track opens out, the aero works. I mean, like he's flashing his lights to get past there, but now that gap's opened back out to nearly a second. So the different cars and different types of car, of course, working differently at this circuit. 265 k's an hour into the braking area, into turn 14 there. 1.2 G's of braking force, and down to first gear for that corner off the end of the straight.
This is a corner I like, the last corner on the track. You've got to be careful you don't go over and too fast, because you go too wide here, you can see the AstroTurf. It's possible, but if you do it too many times, the stewards will penalise you if you exceed the track limits, and we've seen that in Formula One this season. You don't want to do that too often, and very wide that time from the BBT Ferrari as they go on the main straight again. Yeah, the rule of thumb is you're allowed to keep 2 wheels on and 2 wheels on the AstroTurf. If you're doing that, you're okay, but all 4 wheels off the racing surface or off the ripple strip, and you will be facing a penalty. This battle continues between the Lamborghini Huracan and the brand new 488 Ferrari, which has been very successful in its first outing, and why not? The 458 was pretty darn good and is out there in the hands of Carlo Van Dam, the Dutchman who's raced in Asia for some time and has already had some good success this year, but not quite the success you'd expect. I've got to go back to a story though that is a gap, a huge gap, and a huge misunderstanding for those asking where is Darrell Young, man who dominated this weekend last year. And obviously they've changed to the Porsche this year, but we did not expect to him almost being a no-show down in 14th position. Yeah, I mean, I think the Porsche is a particular type of car, Jonathan. I think it's a lot different to the Aston Martin that he was driving last year. As we look at a couple of the Porsches out there, they're both the Group M Porsches. You know, Darrell Young is struggling to come to grips with the setup of the car. The car's good though. I mean, if we look at where Richard Lyons is at the moment, he's running competitive lap times. Darrell Young just struggling a little bit with confidence. Frank Hugh went through a similar period earlier in the year, but he got on top of it. Darrell Young needs to conquer that. There he is in the number 91 VLT sponsored car, and of course Darrell, much success in World Touring Cars and Porsche Carrera Cup. In fact, he's known as Mr. Porsche simply because he's got so much success with the Porsche Carrera Cup over the years, and there was high hopes when they swapped from Aston Martin to Porsche this year. They pull it off, and there's no reason why they couldn't, but it just hasn't become good for them. Sugden and Leicester we're seeing now, they're hanging off just ahead of his teammate, and all the 2 Bentleys on track together, and this has been a good run so far from Adley Fong. He's caught right up to the number 8 Bentley, and Venter and Sauer, of course, and Keta Sauer, we know how good he can be around here. He'll be in the second stint. But now, as you can see, Adley Fong trying to get past and pushing and putting lots of pressure on the number 8. Been doing a lot of racing miles as well as Adley Fong. He's been in the US of A at Utah, hasn't he? Yeah, he's been on a couple of podiums last weekend, in fact, just a few days ago in Salt Lake City. So busy boy. Gap opening up a little bit, that front 3 getting away from the Mercedes just there. Engel just drifting off the back of that pack, 1.7 seconds behind the pack at the moment. The other thing we have to bring in talk about though is tyre degradation. It's so hot out there, the drivers are saying that really as the race goes on, these tyres are going to drop off their pace, so that's another part of the equation that's going to come into it. Yeah, but talking interestingly enough with your own Mule, who of course who races Pirellis in Europe, he's out there, have been the second stint for the Lamborghini team. He was saying that the Pirellis that he races in Europe kind of have an optimal and then they drop right off, whereas the Michelins kind of stay steady. They get to a point where you've had the optimal and then you don't realise, if, you know, oh, that was the fastest lap I'm going to do. That's correct, but what you've got to look at, Jonathan, is that these tyres may drop off from their optimal or fastest lap time 2 seconds a lap. If you can make the tyre drop off only 1.7 seconds a lap, then you're going to win the race, and that's what these guys do in practice. They try and get that drop off to be the minimal amount possible. Cracking race at the front between Young, Tappy and Cheng, because they've been glued together, the top 3. Maro Engel starting to make some inroads on them. His last lap at 2:07.3. We expect with him he's actually on the same pace as Young, and you can see visibly catching there as they come to the end of the long straight. The Mercedes in fine Vettel. And just weaving his way through traffic now. Eduardo, oh, he makes a mistake though. There's Liberati, and he's liberated the Porsche, the number 88 Interrush Porsche of Richard Lyons. So this is an almighty battle going on here, and very important places. Once again, the BBT Ferrari starts to line himself up for an overtake. Davide Rizzo, light flashing on the Lamborghini after that mistake. And in fact, that's actually Antonuzzi in the number 55. Well, interestingly enough, no, there's been a real change around here, because it is Liberati under pressure from the 37 as they go through the complex.
Yeah,
and it was the second.
No, what's happening? These guys are catching up to the Lamborghini in front. That's what's happening.
Yeah,
so,
Antonuzzi is the leading Lamborghini.
yeah, that's correct. But that's been the case. But the thing, Jonathan, is that they're both catching the leading group in front now. So
oh, that's a very
he's through.
bold manoeuvre. I thought they touched for a moment, but through goes Rizzo.
And he's not giving him any room. Look at that.
Not at all. And just behind them is the all-gold Audi of Sean Thong.
What a great job Sean Thong's doing too. He's really bringing that car back into the field. Remember, he started a long way back, and he's going to hand over to Marchi Lee halfway through this race. Expect that car to finish strong. Look at Tappy. He started a little way through.
He almost bumped into the back of the Audi then. And massive pressure for Alex Young, who won't be denied though. He loves this Shanghai circuit just as much as anyone.
I think Alex wants this win more than anything. He was beaming this morning when you spoke to him. He said he hasn't had a pole position for a couple of years.
Even in the Audi R8 Cup, I was about to explain, if you know Alex Young and if you watched his career, of course he made it to the dizzy heights of Formula One. But since then, for the last few years, he's been very much an Audi R8 driver, as is Marchi Lee, and they continue to race in the Audi Cup as well. So there's nobody better to drive that R8 than that man, Alex Young, right now. He's under immense pressure from the Bentley. And yeah, just to confirm, 7th and 8th are the two Lamborghinis, but it's the second and new Lamborghini of Richard Antonuzzi in 7th place. And Liberati is in 8th position. And why I got caught out was because, of course, you're expecting Liberati to be ahead. And we may see before the end of this stint them trying to get past the other Lamborghini, but it's not important. It's just a matter of handing the car out in the best possible shape.
Well, it is, but the interesting thing for me at the moment is that Rizzo and Lou are in a Lamborghini sandwich.
Yeah, pretty much. Time's dropping off. Last lap for Young, a 2:08.039, whereas everyone behind him is pretty much on the 2:07s, or high 2:07s anyway. And you can see Tappy getting frustrated, trying to tap his way through almost. Almost side by side for a moment there with the Audi, but he can't find a way past. And I think as these two fight, it's actually playing into the hands of the 4th place Maro Engel in the Mercedes AMG, because that 4th place getting ever closer. Last time out, Maro did a 2:07.7, so he was quicker than the leader.
I mean, basically back to Sean Thong in 10th place, 2:07.2. They're all doing the same lap time out there. Just the play of the race has put the gaps in there. Very, very difficult to do this. But look at the number 13 car with Cheng at the wheel at the moment. He's also closed the gap up now.
Of course, this will all change around when the pit window comes into play, and these cars will start to make their move. Oh no! The Lamborghini is out!
Is that 55?
It's either, well,
that looks like some
the
sort of
55
contact
of Liberati, yeah, because it's the 15.
It is.
No, I think it's the
15. It was the 15.
The 15 of Antonuzzi.
Oh, not sure. He's either had a tyre let go or some sort of contact on that rear left-hand side.
Let's hope it's not the championship leaders, because that's a much bigger story. If it is the 15, it's a shame. And of course, they start on the front row for the second race, but that can put. It doesn't really matter in terms of points, because they wanted to support their teammates, and Richard Antonuzzi doing a really good job and about to hand over the car to Jerome Mule, but the Dutchman may not get his chance.
Oh,
and it
no.
is the 15.
But that's a bad place to stop.
We could get a safety car. What a shame. What a massive shame. A lot of hard work. A lot of good preparation for this race, coming out of nowhere, effectively. Richard Antonuzzi, in fact, have experienced both Mule and Antonuzzi. In fact, in the case of Jerome Mule, the guy that actually pretty much developed the car itself, so he was really looking forward to his debut here in Asia. Richard Antonuzzi, of course, raced in Formula 3 here in Macau a few years ago. He knows Asia well. and he too was looking for a real good opportunity and a good weekend, but sadly, he's parked it in the middle of the track.
That gap from Maro Engel in fourth position
Coming
in
down,
the AMG, it is coming down. It's under 2 seconds now, 1.9. So if Engel is slowly chipping his way forward to the leading three.
As you can see, he's out, but that's not a...
No, I think that's off. It's got to be off the
got to be
racing
off track,
circuit.
yeah.
Yeah,
There is the American.
But yeah, he's having a look at that left-hand rear. Obviously, some sort of issue. I don't know what those hand signals mean. What do you think?
I think he's trying to get them to kind of get a lift out of there because he knows he can't get it back.
Yeah. Well,
meanwhile, this battle at the front just continues to rage on. It's been superb. And talking about soaking up pressure, I haven't seen Alex drive this well in a long time, and I think that pole position just really, I don't know, I think he got a bounce in his step this morning, because this has been a superb drive so far from Alex Jr. You can see he's under pressure, and likewise, Tappy seemingly ignoring the number 13 Cheng behind him, and Frankie Cheng doing a very good job of making this 1-2-3 as Engel now catches them both to make it a 1-2-3-4. Doesn't get any better than this. A Bentley, 2 Audis, and the Mercedes AMG. Onto the last turn and onto the main straight they come again.
Good drive out of that last turn by Alex Jung as well. He got a really good drive, pulled car length on Taffy just behind him.
And now Engel's getting amongst it.
Yeah,
2:08.5, so 4/10 quicker than Young last time out.
Yeah, and this is really the time of the race where that initial grip from the green tyre has disappeared, and the setup, all the miles done in setup come into play. Now look at Tappy, look at how tight he can turn the car at that point, trying everything he can to try and find a way past the number 5 Audi.
I expect the leaders to stay out as long as possible. That's what tends to happen, of course. Now, we do this compulsory change, and effectively the second driver, though that's a rare term, but these, the guys you're looking at now, are the top drivers in each of the teams. So they try to stay out and get as fast a long stint as possible, trying to hand the car over with the biggest amount of lead they can, or at least advantage they can. But in the case of this particular foursome, I don't think it's going to be much. I think they're all going to be coming in very quickly. Now, that does lead me nicely on to, why don't you explain exactly what the compensation times are as we come into this, because it will matter now as they come in.
Okay, so we do have compensation times allocated to these cars, and it depends on a few different things. It depends on your driver level. Of course, the drivers have an FIA level of platinum, gold, and silver. If you're a silver combination driver in the car, you get an extra 16 points. On top of that, you get extra points added if you get success. The pit window will open in 9 minutes.
No, that's how long we've got left on the pit window.
Okay.
The window is open, but like I said, I don't expect the top 4 to come in. Who should we be looking at, though, in terms of the most crucial pit stop?
Well, I'll tell you what, you want to keep an eye on the number 13 car, because it's not got, it's only going to have a 75-second pit stop from what I can see at the moment. So that number 13 car is sitting in the box seat at the moment. Engel is also in a good position. They're in 4th, but it depends on the speed of the second driver that gets into that car.
So too Alex Jung, though.
Alex Jung is in a very good position as well, because he hasn't had the success of some of the other drivers lately, but also Tappy is in a good position as well.
Oh, Tappy does do exactly
but he's
that.
On the outside.
He taps past.
Excellent move there by Tappy.
Nicely on the inside, and through goes Tappy into the lead, past Alex Jung at the pit window, and now surely Alex will try to gather himself together, but now Tappy trying to make hay, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. Tappy knows that he's got to hand the car over to Vuticorn, but he wants to try to give him precious seconds, quite literally, ahead of the drivers that will all come in their second position.
The thing that Alex...
Here's another look at the overtake.
Nips up the inside there, great. We saw him earlier in the race holding a tight line. He was able to hold the tighter line.
Just a little bit of nudging.
Yeah, but he's through, and you can just see the front push of the Audi there. Alex Jung struggling a little bit with that.
So, drama indeed here in the first corner as Tappy goes into the lead in the number 9 Bentley. He'll pass the car on to Vuticorn of Thailand, who's put in some really good stints over this season. But a good combination, Tappy and Vuticorn, and I think it will be again this afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, they're in for a good shot at a win here this afternoon because Vudikorn's a very good driver, and if Tappy can bring the car in the position he's in, they're only going to have a 75-second pit stop compared to some of their major competitors, 112 seconds.
Good job also by the 66 Mercedes AMG of Bastian, as he and Solomon now in 5th place and catching right up to Maro Engel in 4th, and they'll come into the pit lane in a good position as well. Down at the back of the straight, will they come in now, we wonder? Still 7 minutes left of the pit window, so I say no. Keep going, my friend. Tappy trying to build on that lead, and he does so.
Yeah, Bastian's coming fast, looking at his lap times. His he was a second a lap quicker than his teammate in front of him last time round. So Bastian has definitely got the handle of this car now. I think I just saw the BBT Ferrari heading into the pits.
Yep, and that'll be the first of the major pit stops. Tappy already flashing the lights to try and let the slower back markers now, because he's about to catch up, and he's actually letting the Venta Sauer car, who may well have pitted already, let him know that the leaders are coming through, and he doesn't want to get held up because he wants to maintain that advantage. And look at the advantage he has picked up. His last lap at 2:08.2 compared to Young's 2:09.1.
6 minutes 30 left. There's the number 96 car, of course. That is
Zheng Li, yeah.
Yep, Zhang Dinsheng coming in and passing over to Lee. So
great weekend for them, coming out for the first time in the number 96 car, and really impressive. The two Chinese drivers.
Yep.
Group M.
Group M, of course, running 2 Porsches here this weekend. Good to see a number of the manufacturers and teams fielding extra cars, which is great. Look at that slide there from Alex Young. He's really struggling for grip now.
Tappy coming up on the number 8 of Venta Sauer.
Yeah, you've got to think that that's Sauer in the car now, just out for his stint.
Yeah, just getting up to pace. And we'll try to see if that BBT Ferrari gets out well. 5 minutes and 46 seconds. We're still staying with the leaders as we might, because this is really an almighty battle, and it has been throughout the race. And although the Mercedes has caught up, both Engel and Bastian can't really make any inroads on Tappy at the front.
Yeah, Tappy's doing a good job now. Look how late he is on the brakes. Very late on the brakes, Duncan Tappy. Makes up a lot of ground there.
Well, like so many of these stars here in GT Asia, a former single-seater man, Duncan Tappy.
Oh, this is not going to work out.
Close, yeah, and sure enough,
lucky.
I expected one of the Audis at least to come in.
So Duncan Tappy still maintaining ground. He can catch up to Sauer in front, but Sauer now has definitely picked up his pace, and it's going to be a lot more difficult for the number 9 car to catch up.
Group M boys are out, and almost clipping the front of the leaders there, and this is where it gets a little complicated. You can see the number 98 of John O'Lester in the mix as the leaders come through. He's got to stay out of the way for now, and they're not going to like that much. In comes the lone Lamborghini. And such an important stop. This is our championship leaders, remember.
It's going to be interesting to see if they change tyres as well. Doesn't look like it at the moment. But look at John O'Lester at the back of the group there. He's going to be relishing in this. He driving with this quality of field. John O'Lester, good to see him out there and on the back of the pack at the moment.
Yeah, well, Lester getting in the way there, and Bastian catching up with Engel, and I think that was because of Lester kind of getting in the fray for a moment, and that's allowed Bastian to catch up. No love lost there. This is a one-off drive effectively for the Mercedes, and they'll take each other on for sure, and they are side by side. Look at this. Great racing here from Shanghai. You're watching GT Asia around the world. Jonathan Green and Steve Martin bringing you the action, and it's fast and furious quite literally here in Shanghai. Duncan Tappy leads the way, and he's about to do his pit stop. Everybody's shuffling through now. 3 minutes and 42 left on the pit window. Great to see the resplendent Mercedes AMGs in full flight here.
The other thing you need to be careful of here, Jonathan, is it's such a long lap around here. We've got over 2 minutes, 2 minutes 8, 2 minutes 10. You can't afford to let that pit window clock close down too much. With only 3 minutes left on the clock, it's going to be very close. If they all go through this time, I expect we'll see them come in next time round.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they will. Down that long back straight, the classic Herman Tilke design circuit this.
Frankie Cheng is really putting the pressure on his teammate now. Alex Young hits the indicator accidentally.
Right, now we're starting to see the big boys coming in. And in fact, now picking up the lead will be Cheng. He's going to do one more lap. The important news is that Tappy is in, and so too is Alex Young. Now, pressure on the number 55, of course. Liberati and Amici. Amici at the wheel, and Amici just getting used to it. Here we go, here are the leaders. Tappy coming in, right behind him is Alex Young. They'll swap cars now. Budicorn will jump in.
Of course, they're looking good. 75-second pit stop for these guys. Of course, Duncan Tappy, a gold driver, in for a Puvasak, a bronze. So that's looking good for them. The Mercedes in behind there, the number 66 car, of course, of Nico Bastian and Matthew Solomon. They'll be having a little bit of extra time due to the fact that they're a silver-silver pairing.
Yes, of course, that does make a difference. And there's also an extra compensation for a new one-off rider. Effectively, they get 9 seconds extra.
They do. They get 9 seconds extra for that, and that's something that they have to put into their race plan.
Matthew Solomon is an exciting prospect. The young Hong Kong driver, saw him come onto the scene, bounce onto the scene quite literally, with Mika Hakkinen a couple of years ago at Shanghai, and that was a big surprise because no one had really heard of him. He then went on to Formula 3 in Europe with RR Racing, saw him at Macau as well, and since then he's become an accomplished sports car driver, still just 20 years of age. Saw his dad this morning coming into the pit lane, bouncing off the walls. As always, it's great to have the Solomons here in the championship of GT Asia. Great future for them, as has the series itself.
A lot of be bouncing off the walls. My son was driving one of these GT3 cars as well.
Especially if he brought one home. So this is your race leader, the number 13. And I mean, to some, Frankie Cheng leading the race, I don't know, would be a surprise. For others, not.
You know what? He's been up there all weekend as Frankie Cheng. He's really put in a good effort.
Mind you, he's got to come in now because he's not going to get round again. He's going to get penalised if he doesn't. Out comes Matthew Solomon, the man I've been talking about. There is the number 9 of Budicorn at the wheel now in the Bentley, who will be, once the shuttle has come through, be leading this race, I'm guessing.
Yeah, Budicorn's a good steerer. He really knows how to get the best out of that Bentley. If you remember back at Buriram, had a couple of wins there, didn't Tappy and Budicorn. So they know how to put this thing on the podium, and they know how to win.
So, pit window about to close, just 30 seconds to go in our compulsory pit stop. That's what happens here, and in comes the leader, and the number 68 as well. Maro Engel will hand over the car to his Chinese teammate, and that's been a good stint by the German. He is without doubt one of the leading drivers, especially for Mercedes AMG GT3. And now, Zhang Wenyi, the bronze driver, what pressure he's got. But here, racing at home, big opportunity for him to shine. There is the BBT for Ferrari, just ahead of the number 88 Porsche of Lions and Yu. Frank Yu now at the wheel of the Interrush Porsche.
Yeah, Frank Yu, of course, on the podium last time out in Japan. So his confidence is coming back, which is good to see for the Craft Bamboo team.
Marchi Lee joins and rejoins in 10th position. When you think about the balance, though, for them, that's not a bad place for him to start. He can certainly gauge what he's got to do, Marchi Lee, and he remains, without doubt, one of GT Asia's most exciting drivers. Out goes the former leader, Cheng and Sun. Sun now at the wheel, and it's going to be interesting to see just where they will shuttle out. Sun Jinzhou, the bronze driver, and although effectively an amateur driver, Sun Jinzhou very accomplished as well for Absolute Racing, and I expect him to pedal well around here. Knows the Shanghai circuit well.
Yeah, he would have done a lot of laps around this circuit, wouldn't he? So if he's going to go fast, it should be at this beautiful Shanghai circuit.
And it's interesting, and it couldn't be like more of a home circuit. Absolutely, they showed us the workshop just across the way there. So they've got a big workshop here, and over what, 70 employees or so.
Yeah, they've got shops basically dotted all over the world. Luckily,
Taiwan, Shanghai.
And they used it yesterday
Malaysia.
too, didn't they?
Yep.
They used it yesterday to repair the Adley Font car after he put it into the wall. So business as usual yesterday.
Yeah, Engel Matt and his team got a really nice setup here in Shanghai, and as you can see, so they've got interest in this race throughout, and just biting his nails a little bit because there's a lot going on. Now that is exceeding track limits. I don't think he'll get penalised.
I
for
think
that one.
if you do that every lap, or
Yes,
if you
you
take
will.
an advantage, I mean, that was obviously no advantage of that. That was just he went in too long, perhaps just not up to speed.
What you do is you look at the lap time, and if you suddenly, got 3/10 quicker, you say, okay, look, warning or whatever. But no, it's always worth keeping an eye on. Such a hot topic in Formula One, of course. I think everybody's talking about track limits, and it doesn't really
Well, it's
count as much
it's
as
pretty simple. I mean, if all four wheels are off, you're off.
Yeah,
If two are on, you're on. It's black or white.
Well, it's spread out a little bit now, but it's starting to settle down a little bit now. We had with 22 minutes to go. We welcome you around the world to our coverage of GT Asia from Shanghai, round 9 of the series. Jonathan Green and Steve Martin bringing you the action, and we'd love you to join the conversation. Feel free to get involved at GT Asia Series, or go to the website www.gtasia.com and join us. Let us know what your thoughts are. We're also live on Facebook, and we want you to hear exactly what's going on with the series, and we want to hear from you as well. But it's an exciting time for GT Asia, ever popular and gaining in popularity at the moment each weekend, and you see the likes of the mighty AMG joining the series. It pretty much lets you know just how healthy things are, because without doubt Mercedes AMG, one of, well, if not the most successful GT team in the world, have been for a long time. They've won pretty much everything there is to win when it comes to both endurance and sprint racing. And, delighted to have them back in the series. And Audi, though, trying to steal the thunder somewhat of Mercedes coming back, and of course the monumental fight between the likes of Phoenix Racing, of course, who are a German team at heart. Whoa! Two Ferraris and a Bentley don't go.
Two Ferraris.
The Bentley lost out.
Yeah, Andrew Kim just getting in. Of course, he's had a win as well for Bentley. Won in Korea, his home track. So Andrew Kim just getting in the car and getting to grips.
Here we go.
Up the inside. He tries to go around the outside.
Well,
Can't do it.
I think actually the 458 just seemed to break weirdly, because the BBT went to the inside, the Bentley went to the outside.
He had to do it. He braked too late. If he didn't swerve, he would have run into the back of him. He didn't want to do that, so that was the only action to take in reality.
Kiwi Jono Lester at the wheel of the 98 now in the Porsche Sutton Lester entry.
I want to keep an eye on Anthony Liu as well in the BBT Ferrari at the moment. 208.8 is his lap time. He was the fastest man on track last time round. Except for that golden Marchi Lee, of course.
Yeah, well, Marchi Lee also, I noticed in the background when that incident we just saw took place. There he is, just in the background there.
If there's ever a master coming through the pack, it is Marchi Lee.
It is.
And he will be sniffing victory at the moment, even though it doesn't look like it from where we sit. We've got a long way to go in this race.
Look at this, Ferrari, Mercedes, Bentley, Audi behind. Perfect racing from GT Asia, just what we'd hoped for here from Shanghai. It's been a fantastic season, 2016. It really doesn't get any better. And more and more manufacturers coming in, and great to see Mercedes coming this weekend, and you can see they're up for it. The lights flashing on the 66. Solomon in the mood as he tries to put a hurt on the number 12 of Pitipir Bhakti. Bhakti's not to be intimidated, especially after that run in Fuji. Really good there, but through goes the 66.
Yeah, nice little bit of a tap there.
Seems to be the favourite place to overtake in that complex after the first corner.
Yeah, it's definitely a good little spot where you can just nip up the inside there, and Solomon did a great job to get through. Look at the gap that he's pulled already on Pitipir Bhakti. He's definitely on a way forward through the pack. He sits in 7th at the moment. I think there was a bit of contact here.
No, I think he got through safe. I think he got through cleanly.
No, that was clean, wasn't it?
Yeah, he got through quickly though, I must admit. It's an amazing car. We got up close to the MG, and it really is. The engine is further back than you'd think in terms of that long nose.
It's not the SLS, of course. This is the new GT3, and it's got a mid-mounted engine. The engine is right back next to the driver pretty much. And I mean, if Mercedes want to make a good race car, they know how to do it. I'll tell you what, you are looking at a great race car.
Marchi Lee had a moment ago. He almost came at a side-by-side with the number 12, but Pitipir Bhakti held him off for now. But Lee will not be delighted, I'm sure. And he really wants by the all-gold Marchi Lee. The Hong Kong driver loves racing in China, has raced for many, many years, of course, here And what's going on with the number 90? Very wide there. I think a little bit of debris on track. That's, of course, the entry of Lin Yu and Sun Jianchen, China and Chinese Taipei, the Lamborghini Huracan Super Trofeo for Team Fist.
Well, Itarupuvasak leads at the moment. His last lap time was a 2:10.3. Marchi Lee is a 2:07.3 at the moment. He's consistent in that lap time too, so he's got a bit of work to do.
The gap out the front now, we've all settled down, is 2.8 seconds to in second place. Sun is in third, but some 14 seconds off the lead, but it's a mighty battle then. 3 seconds the gap between Butikon, who's doing a very good job and circulating well, though not as quick as Alex Ho at the moment.
Look at Lee, he's just gone past the number 68 as well.
Yeah, he's doing really well, thanks. Lost the place to him, and I'm not that surprised.
There's an issue with that car, I think.
What, the Mercedes?
Well,
Not
just
getting out of the
eaten
corner
up
very
at the
well.
moment.
Yeah,
Look how far Marchi Lee's pulled away.
You're right. I think Xiang has got problems. Most of them being other cars. Back with the number 9.
Itarupuvasak, of course.
Now you can see the gap between the leaders.
Yeah.
Visually.
And Alex Au just behind him. 0.8 of a second a lap quicker last time round, so Au is closing that gap.
Yeah, big time. And yeah, Butikon's not under too much pressure yet, but with 16 minutes to go, he doesn't want a 0.8 gap coming down any more than it is. Certainly plenty of time for Alex to catch him.
Yeah, you know what? I reckon the gap back to Rizzo and Liu, who are probably, Anthony Liu is probably, you know, one of the fastest guys out there. It's 21 seconds, so these two guys at the moment could be first and second. If they maintain the current pace that they've got, they could be on the podium, John.
Well, Alex O, of course, yet to have a win in GT Asia. He was the runner-up in the R8 LMS Cup for amateurs last year, and he would love nothing more as up comes the inside of the two Italians, and Amici trying to get past our champion winning car last year anyway. That of, I'm thinking, of course, of Daryl O'Young and Viren Bhakti.
Yeah, Toy Viren Bhakti there just had to give way, the Lamborghini through.
And Amici makes up a place, and these two youngsters, Liberati and Amici, have really come of age in front of us this year. Since we arrived in Korea, they were a little hot-headed, got in trouble a little bit, causing a few accidents they shouldn't have been in. And now, very much the accomplished package, and looking very good indeed. In fact, I asked Amici, the man you're looking at right now in the 55 car, the Huracan, I said, this is a massive weekend for you. I mean, everything else has been, you know, you got to the front of the championship 5 weeks ago at Fuji, and I think you've had time to think about it, sit on the beach a little bit in Italy, and realise that Shanghai could be make or break as to whether these two youngsters actually take this brand new Huracan to victory here in Asia, which would be monumental. I don't think anybody really anticipated it, given the field at the beginning of the season.
They've been on the podium 5 times this year, and they've already had a win as well. And I mean, that just shows you how competitive that Huracan is over all of the circuits that we visited. And I'll tell you what, there's what a discrepancy in the circuits as well. We've been to tight, bumpy circuits and F1 style circuits like this.
And if I have to give credit, I'll give it to Alpora. I think he's the perfect team manager for these two Italians. They're good, they're fast, they have to be. They're factory chosen. The Italians know what they're doing when it comes to racing drivers. But nurturing them and teaching them about this kind of racing is the perfect way the Englishman Alpora does. Whenever you talk to him, he knows exactly what the plan is, he knows exactly what he's going to tell his drivers, he's happy to share it with the media, and he's happy to kind of, you know, just tell you his game plan. I think it's just there's an ease amongst the team.
The other thing I like about them is that they do it by the book.
Yes.
We heard them say that. Everything's done by the book, and that way it's done right.
Well, now look at this gap. Nothing in it, because we have a fantastic grandstand finish coming up here with 13 minutes and 45 seconds to go. Alex O is all over the back of Butikon now as the two of them are glued together. This is first and second, the battle for, as they come onto the start straight again here in Shanghai. Bentley versus Audi, two very different cars, but as you can see, perfectly matched on the track. Last time out, a 2:10 from Butikon at 2:08.9. So big mistakes there by Butikon. I don't know whether he's got a problem. He's certainly had a very slow lap there, and Alex Ho not wasting any time to try and pounce.
Yeah, I guess he's feeling the pressure. I mean, Butikon, let's face it, he's not a racing car driver. He spends time, you know, selling cars more than driving them. So, you know, these guys, they're not in the car every week, so it does take them a little bit of time to get up to speed. Compare that to a guy like Adley Fong, who's racing in America one week and Asia the next. They really do not get a lot of time in these cars, so it's very hard to have the consistency of some of the more professional drivers like your Englands, like your Solomons and so forth.
Well, this would be a really interesting win if Alex Howe can bring it off the first one in GT Asia. First of all, though, he's got to get past the big bad Bentley of the number 9, which is Vuticorn.
Vuticorn wants this though, look at him fight. And you can also, the thing that's good for me also is the different parts of this track, how the fast sweeping parts where the aero works, the Audi can catch right up, but in the tighter parts it looks to me like the Bentley is actually stronger, especially in the heavy braking areas, and when you really got to muscle the car into the middle of the corner, it does seem to get some good front grip. Of course the Bentley with the front mounted engine loads the front a lot more, and in these slippery conditions that could be helping.
Back with the BBT Ferrari, the Shanghai-based BBT Ferrari. Marchi Lee again making another place up, this time on the former leaders. The Cheng Sun combination and number 13 Audi. Marchi Lee just marching on quite literally through the field. It's another classic Marchi race. He chose to play in the second driver effectively. He knew, I think at the beginning of the season, it was a bit of a surprise, but he knew he could do this sort of thing when the it was against the rub, so to speak. That's exactly what Marchi does well.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's playing into his hands a little bit now. He's catching up to Anthony Liu in front of him, 207.5 for Solomon that time around, 207.7 for Marchi Lee.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see just how close within this last 10 minutes they can get, because obviously Marchi Lee, the man to watch. Anthony Liu crosses the line now. Time running out then on this round 9 race here in GT Asia, here from Shanghai. 2 races this weekend, and they could be pivotal in the championship decision towards the end of this 2016 year. It's been brilliant last year, of course, with Darrell Young taking the title on the very last race, and expecting similar this year. Pretty darn tight. Certainly was going into this weekend, and I don't think it's going to be any different by the end of Sunday evening either. 10 minutes to go then.
Sun doing a good job in the number 13 Audi. And of course the Absolute Racing Audi based at this circuit, 207.1, set by Frankie Cheng earlier on in the race. But he's just going to try and bring it home now as Sun. If he can bring it home in one piece.
Yeah, top 6 finish, not a bad display, although lead in the race, I'm sure he'll be a little bit disappointed with that.
Well, it is a pairing, isn't it? You've got to get the pairing right, and you know, these guys have done a great job. I think to finish top 6 or 7 in this field of drivers is a pretty impressive job. But when you've got to remember, they're not a full-time entry. They've only done 2 races this year.
The only surprise to me, I expected a little more from Mercedes, given that they've always, when they've entered even on one-off races, one-off occasions, done so well. And it just shows you the level of GT Asia now.
Well,
the mighty Mercedes can't just come in and wipe up.
Well, you know, when you do come into this series as a one-off entry, you have certain penalties. One of the penalties is you have to carry more car weight, which is definitely coming into effect here. You have more time in the pits, which will affect their outcome as well. So, you know, if they did the whole series, the car would be more competitive than it is now. But nevertheless, at the moment, he's still lapping very impressive. Solomon, at least, quicker than Rizzo and Liu. Number 37, we could see the Mercedes on the podium.
8 minutes to go, or just over, and we're looking at, of course, Andrea Amici in 10th position. Disappointment for the 55. They already lost Antonuzzi and in the other Lamborghini coming in for the first weekend. There's the battle for 3rd and 4th between Liu and Solomon. Matthew Solomon all over the back of Anthony Liu, and he won't like that much.
The thing they say about that Mercedes, of course, is that it's easy to drive relatively compared to the other cars. A lot easier to drive when it's sliding around. It maintains its balance. It doesn't want to, you know, slide out or spin round. So that is the advantage of the car, especially in this part of the race. Anthony Liu in front will be sort of like having to work just that little bit harder to maintain the lead over the number 66 car.
Yeah, we kind of took a poll as to both from the drivers of Mercedes and those racing against it, and they said that, you know, while certain cars have certain characteristics which are beneficial, the Mercedes seemingly just is kind of good in all types of corners and in a straight line. It's good in fast corners, good in slow corners. I mean, that mid-engine helps a little bit, but it's like, as you say, it's a very forgiving car to drive.
6.3 litres of Mercedes grunt sort of helps a little bit too.
Yeah, absolutely. He's putting some hurt on the number 37 at the moment. Anthony Liu under pressure at home here in Shanghai.
But look at that, once again, as they get to the faster parts of the circuit, just like with the Bentley, the more, I guess, aero packaged car in the Ferrari makes its way through.
Well, and it's an important battle too, because it's bragging rights for the podium. And of course, in motor racing, 1, 2, 3 is what it's all about. And Marchie Lee wants a little bit of the action too. He's just behind. 7 minutes to go. Who's going to count out Marchie Lee for a podium?
Not me. Not me. I've seen him do it before. But this is working for the championship, Jonathan. This is really working out well for the Rizzo and Lou number 37 car. Because at the moment, Liberati and Amici are having a nightmare back in ninth.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, they've only just got through on Xiang as Amici up to ninth. And like you say, this has turned out really after they know they're going to start tomorrow's race in first and second. But really, they wanted a good, what, top 5 out of this? It's not going to be.
No, that's what we were expecting when we looked at all the qualifying times throughout practice, that they would be in and around 5th position. But back there in the pack where they are, you know, they've got some work to do. They must have had an issue because they're nearly a lap down, so definitely some sort of issue.
Big time lost out by Alex O there, because as they came through the back markers, he's lost a lot of time. I think there's a little, yeah, you can see from the windscreen wipers a few drops of rain now on the circuit. So that has been a factor, and it's becoming fastly a big factor too in the closing stages of this. Well, if it wasn't drama enough, Shanghai throwing it up. Just over 5 minutes to go, and drips and drizzles of rain. You can't see it that easily. You can see when the wipers go on, and you can see mistakes being made now. So we are in for an almighty finish to this one.
Anything could happen now, Jonathan. We've seen, we saw it on Yama in the wet and slipping conditions, what could happen with 5 minutes left on the clock. Marchie Lee could close that gap.
And he has, look at him, he's all over the back of the Mercedes now. He's coming, and coming fast. Last time out at 2:08.5, and when you consider that Solomon did a 2:10.2, Marchie is coming, and very quickly indeed.
Yeah, 16 seconds behind the winner, but definitely a podium to look at.
Wipers on for the first and second. Lights on for the BBT Ferrari on the back markers. What a finish this is going to be. Alex O looking for his first victory, but so too Vutakorn. Yes, we've been talking about the combination of Tappi and Vutakorn, but Vutakorn's not had a win either. And Alex O looking for his best opportunity. They come onto the main straight with less than 5 minutes to go. Rain starting to pour down here at Shanghai. Anything could happen, and probably will, as they go down to the famous snail curves of the first turn here at Shanghai.
This is incredible stuff. If you've got anything left, Alex Au has to go for this. He really does have to give it everything he's got. But I reckon that Vutakorn is just pulling a little bit on him now. I think that he's in these conditions, of course, track conditions, a lot slipperier, maybe slightly cooler with the water on the track now, but it's not raining that hard from what we can see here in the commentary booth. But definitely conditions are changing out there.
Well, they both did a 2:12 last time. They're definitely slowed down because of the conditions. They're still very much glued together on track. But as you say, I think Vutakorn has reacted well. He's given himself a little bit of space and breathing room with 4 minutes to go. That's a couple of laps, really. That's all that's in it now. And I wonder what our championship leaders, Amici, can do from 9th position and see if they can get up the board. We're also keeping an eye on Marchie Lee, currently in 5th place.
You've got to think that Alex...
4th place now, I should say.
You've got to think that Alex Au has to have a go, doesn't he? I mean, they haven't had the win yet in the silver Audi. Of course, the golden Audi of Marchie Lee has won the race. Yeah. But I know somebody that's sitting in the pits right now with everything crossed. Alex Jung.
Yeah, no question about it. They haven't had the luck go their way at all. You talked to Alex at the beginning of the season. He was excited about the look of the way the championship was.
It's coming down hard now.
Well, it's coming down hard. You can see the rain in certain places on the circuit. This is a long way in the circuit. kilometres. And now there's Marty Lee in the background, just behind the Mercedes. He hasn't got past, in fact. Thought he had for a moment.
Well,
he's still there.
With the conditions changing the weather.
Alex goes to the outside.
You've got to go to the inside, I reckon.
Yeah,
but if he can get a good drive up.
Well, he did. He got a good sling then. That's exactly what he was hoping for. He's side by side with the Bentley. This is the race. This is round 9. They almost touch. They come to the last corner. The Bentley holds him off. Vutakorn doing a brilliant job the time. But Alex O, the Hong Kong driver, won't be denied. It's a drag race down the main straight. Who's going to give in? 2 minutes to go. Oh, what racing! Bentley, Audi, and Ferrari.
He's definitely got to try and go to the inside, Jonathan, if he can do something. Vutakorn under immense pressure at the moment. I haven't seen a race like this in a long time.
Wow, this is brilliant. Through turn 2 and 3.
More front grip there from the Bentley. The Bentley does seem to turn a little bit better. Work to do from Alex Howe in the background.
Time running out then. Get another lap in, I think, after this, but that'll be it. 2 minutes to go.
Yeah.
Vutakorn and Tappy leading the way ahead of Jung and O. The two Alexes in second place, and Liu and Rizzo. Anthony Liu at the wheel, the Shanghai base man holding on for third place.
Anthony Liu, keep an eye on Anthony Liu. He's 4 seconds a lap quicker than these guys in front of him.
Just noticed that myself. Yeah, brilliant.
Anthony Liu could join this battle if it goes for another couple of laps.
Well,
it's not over yet.
I think it's going to go for at least one more lap, Steve.
Well, 1.5. And there he is in the background. Look at him go.
He definitely got the hurry up because he's moved ahead of Lee, who's last time out at 2:11.6. I mean, Marchi was quick, but boy, Anthony put the hammer down there.
I don't think
Again, side by side, Alex O round the outside. Can't get to it, though, on the Bentley. Up the hill they go.
Oh, there you go. He's been pushing too hard. I guess you can't do 2:10s in those conditions.
So, hoisted by his own petard there, Anthony Liu there. Makes a mistake, and let's hope it's not a really bad mistake.
No, he's back on, he's back on. But look how wet it is now. It's a lot wetter.
Oh, yeah, you can see now the spray pouring up. Who's it going to be, Bentley or Audi? Marchi Lee has got past the Mercedes. Marchi Lee in 4th position now, ahead of Solomon.
Very defensive driving up by Intrapuvasak.
And Vutakorn doing everything to hang on. The Audi, though, looking for a way past. He looks to the inside now. He tried round the outside last time. It didn't pay off. Now he's going to try and do it again. They come out of the last corner. He'll tuck himself behind. This will be it.
He's got to go up the inside. He's got to try and do it. But Intrapuvasak is driving very defensively now. Of course, they've got...
Here we go. The outside, can he make it stick? What he tries to do is a big slingshot here. Tries to get as much power around here, then look to the inside. But as you can see, the Bentley's just right there.
Yeah, look at the different turning there. The Bentley really turns well in those tighter corners, and the Audi has to take a wider line. He loses time there,
Anthony Liu! Here he comes. He's all over it.
Anthony Liu wants this.
2:14.9 last time out. He was 3 seconds quicker again.
Yeah, he definitely wants this. He made a mistake, but he's regrouped and he's looking at the win. He's looking at victory.
Well, 1 minute we were talking about Alex O taking his first victory. Now he's in trouble.
Yeah, it's not looking good for him now, but a little bit of a gap for Intrapuvasak up front now. He's pulled away.
GT Asia doing fantastic stuff here. Has 3 different marks, all going for it.
He's going around the outside.
Ferrari up to 2nd with Anthony Liu.
What a maneuver.
Nicely done by the Shanghai man. Wonderful stuff. Into 2nd place now. 1 more to go, Anthony. You can do it.
Well, I don't know. It's going to be difficult. That gap is looking ever increasingly big with only half a lap left. But if anybody can do it, it's Anthony Liu. Well, look at the slide.
Anthony Liu's had good luck and bad luck here in Shanghai. Finally, will it be his day? Vutakorn stands in his way in the Bentley, but there's time in this lap to do it. He's got the long straight, and maybe if he can tuck himself behind the Bentley, he's got a chance. O's not out of it either. Anybody makes a mistake now and they're in trouble.
I can tell you what's going through his head right now, and it's win it or bin it.
It's a case of that. Vutakorn hanging on for dear life in the big bad Bentley, but here comes the Ferrari, the brand new red and yellow Chinese Ferrari of BBT.
Well, this
looking
is it.
for victory.
This is it. He's got to try up the inside here if he can. He's got to try up the inside.
1 more corner to go. Round 9 coming to a conclusion. Vudicorn holding on for dear life.
Look, he's going up the inside. He's got good drive out. He's round the outside. He's in a good position.
But he's going to be on the
This
outside.
is where he made the mistake last time through. Vudicorn holds him wide.
What a brilliant defensive drive by Vudicorn.
It's not over yet. It's not over yet.
He's going to hold on to
Look at
Bentley
this.
side by side. Photo finish. And I think it's going to be Ferrari at home. Wins. And Anthony Liu takes a famous victory here for Ferrari in the number 37 BBT Ferrari as Liu wins here in a monumental race. The rain played its role, but we saw some superb driving, and Anthony Liu drove out of his skin in that race to win at home, and he knows it.
That was a brilliant drive.
Wow. I mean, when you consider that he's racing against the likes of Mercedes-AMG with the likes of Maro Engel at the wheel, Rizzo and Liu have just put on a masterclass.
If it wasn't for one slide coming out of that last corner, Podium would have had that, but he just got onto the ripple strip, had a slide, and that was enough to let Anthony Liu go through for the victory.
And am I right in saying 4 laps ago we were talking about how Alex Owen looked odds on for his first victory?
We completely wrote off that red Ferrari, but you should never write off a red Ferrari, Jonathan.
No, it's a rule of life. And Marchi Lee, a brilliant job to get up to 4th place, but we cannot take away anything from Rizzo and Liu, the Billionaires Boys team. That's what they're all about, and they've made it happen. And like I said before, this Shanghai circuit, look at the damage to the front of the car.
Well, yeah, as I said, win it or bin it, and he won
almost
it.
did. But
well, he nearly binned it in that corner the lap before, trying.
See the damage.
Yeah, that's, obviously, here we go.
Coming up on Alex out there, I think.
This is turn 8. This is halfway through the lap when he made the move around the outside of Alex out. And at that stage, there's no damage on the front of the car, so that was a clean move. Then hard on the brakes, he tried to go around the outside, but this was a setup for the acceleration up the inside and out of turn 14 and 15. He got good drive there. That might have been where the little bit of contact
was.
was.
On the right-hand side. See, look, very close, almost touching that. I thought Vudicorn had done enough to defend there.
Well, Vudicorn did, but where he made his mistake was he went out too wide and
That's
over the
where
ripple
the
strip.
touch
Look at
was.
this slide.
That's
look at
where
that
the
slide.
damage was.
Yeah, but look at that slide. That slide was just
the
enough
race.
for him to lose the race.
So Anthony Liu comes out of the last corner. Vudicorn goes wide. They touch. He gets damage, and then the drag race, and he wins it in the number 37. Wow. Good luck writing the press release on that one, Sean. that could be a full chapter.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind watching that last lap over and over.
Wow, well, I hope you've enjoyed that. Well, we do this most weekends, so join us around the world, whether you want to do the live streaming or join us on Fox Sports Asia, because this is what we do. And there's Davide Rizzo, the Italian. I think we might see some Italian flair here. And there you see on the back of his overalls the BBT. And like I said, it's been an amazing, both happy and unhappy hunting ground for them. And they've come so close to winning this championship. Finally, will 2016 year Anthony Liu to take the title? Well, it's certainly starting to look that way. He does the Usain Bolt. Well, he was pretty much on world record 100-meter, 200-meter pace there.
I don't know. He got that last 100 metres perfect, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Which was what he needed to do. And in fact, the last, from when it started to spit with rain, he did a brilliant job. But I don't take anything away from Podium. Podium did a great job as well. Well, we wait to hear from the winners of that spectacular race. A good race also, though, for Tappy and Vudicorn.
Take nothing away from Vudicorn. He put in a superb performance and lost to a tiny slide there right at the end. We'll go down in a moment to Sean Henselwood, who will have the winners of this race. And we may just get a smile from Anthony Liu. He's a quiet and reserved man, and he points to his car where it's been damaged. And
Davide.
Great celebration.
Step in. One, okay. Anthony Liu, that was a fantastic race. What were the chances of that happening? And the weather probably played into your hands.
Well, I told my engineer after quali, I said rain is good for us. So it's good for us.
Hard work, Davide. What was it like to watch from the garage?
It was crazy, but I knew as soon the drop starts to come down, he's going to win. I knew that.
How much did home track advantage play into the game?
Well, at the end, everyone is driving or whatever, but when we look out and we see our families, we go for it.
Looked a little bit tight a couple of times.
Well, it was it. Yeah, definitely it was hot in the car, but yeah, we did really good.
Well done.
Thank you.
Top two men winners in this race, Rizzo and Liu. And after 28 laps of superb adrenaline and great racing, it is Ferrari that beat Bentley with Audi in third, and Jung taking third place with Alex O, and Thong and Lee taking fourth place. Great drive from Marchi Lee, as always. 7 seconds adrift, though, of the winners. Liberati and Amici made it up to fifth place, and that is a good result for them, too, given that with a couple of laps to go when the rain started to pour down, they were down in 10th position. They got ahead of Van Dam and Bidden Bakhti in 6th place. Further down, disappointment, I'm sure, really, for Engel and Xiang in 11th place, and likewise for Bastien and Solomon. They dropped off the two Mercedes, and I think they'll be back for sure for the second race. Don't forget, you can join us on Facebook and at GT Asia on Twitter. We want to hear from you. What a race. Catch your breath on that one. If that is anything to go for round 10, we are in for a doozy. Here's how the championship stands at the moment, and now Edoardo Liberati and Andrea Amici have lost their championship lead for a moment. Well, it's all equal, I suppose, but after that win, Liu with 103, Rizzo, Liberati and Amici all there, and incredible when you consider it. Marchi Lee still in the throes of it, 85 points with he and his teammate Sean Thong, and then Adderley Fong, 82 points, Andrew Kim with him. Vuticorn getting good points there, he too now on 82 points. What a season this has been, and how close is it? The top 4 drivers all on the same points going into round 10 tomorrow. And, well, there's also the expectation of more rain showers tomorrow too, and they certainly had a role to play, Steve, in this one. And, you know, you never can tell. We heard there might be showers, but it's a window, it's an hour, you never know.
That's right, and we saw it happen yesterday with the rain showers come at this time of the day as well. So you know, those in the know knew that something was going to happen there, and it certainly did. The rain came down, and it just showed how it can turn things around. And those that are more experienced at this circuit, like a guy like Anthony Liu, and let's face it, Anthony Liu is a rain god. We heard David Rizzo allude to that earlier on. He knew that he would be in for victory when that shower hit, and it was to be. It was his day, and he was on a win it or bin it lap. He had to, and he pulled it off. He honestly did. You know, the drive of the day.
Yeah, I'm more and more impressed, and that's what I love about GT Asia, is that you've got these world-class drivers who come with massive reputations from the factories, like Amici and Liberati, and of course, in this weekend for the likes of Maro Engel. But then you have the Anthony Lius and the Alex O's coming out, not out of nowhere, but learning so much from the professionals, and actually just turning what used to be a name of a gentleman driver and far from, or amateur driver, and putting world-class performances in, and that's what's so impressive to me.
Another, you know, take my hat off to the Alex Jung car as well. First podium for them this, you know, race, so it's good to see them put some good points on the board. Audi obviously performing really well. A bit unlucky for Alex that it rained towards the end. I think that he had a good chance of winning the race if it stayed dry, but wasn't to be. So, you know, unfortunate for him.
Well, as you can see, we are gathering for Podium, and Anthony Liu still waving to his fans here in Shanghai. And I think he won't get a chance to celebrate tonight, but I think Sunday night will be a big night in Shanghai.
Yeah, well, he's got to do it all again tomorrow, doesn't he? Try and get another victory if he can, especially with the championship shaping up the way it is.
4 on the same points now. That's how close it is. But long way to go this weekend alone, never mind the rest of the season. But there you see the all red and yellow, and Anthony points to the sky as almost thanking the rain gods, so to speak. Certainly helped him, and Rizzo knew that as soon as the rain came down, this was a great opportunity. Also seeing on the podium the GTM winners, Lin Yu and Jun San Chen. And first of all, though, third place, the Phoenix Racing Asia team of Alex Yun and Alex Hao on the right-hand side. Then two. In second place, the Bentley Absolute team, Duncan Tappy and Vuticon. And Rizzo and Liu for BBT Ferrari 4888, the brand new 488 Ferrari, winning in Asia again. So that's how round 9 rounded out. My thanks to Steve Martin. That was a cracker. GT racing at its absolute finest, and there's more to come from the Shanghai International Circuit for round 10, live across the world, live streaming, and of course on Fox Sports Asia tomorrow. I'm Jonathan Green. We'll see you tomorrow.